Okay, chief engineers, now we are going to discuss one important thing that we as chief engineers miss out on checking. That is the charter party norms or the charter party clauses. So this section we are going to discuss about the charter party, where and all it is important, and what all actually things are mentioned in the charter party that we as chief engineers have to see, and what all important things that we have to note during bunkering or while we are making or filing reports, noon report or daily reports. Okay, so and why they are included in the charter party.
To every marine engineer out there, from junior engineer to chief engineer and electrical officer, we all know that earning respect on ship is very important. We all know fast promotions are very important, and we all know that इज्जत कमानी है, promotion चाहिए तो काम आना चाहिए, तो जूते पड़ते हैं, गालियां पड़ती हैं, and for that you need a good mentor. Sometimes we keep finding those mentors on board ship, अगर नहीं मिल रहे तो MNDFLIX है ना, Merchant Navy Decoded has launched a subscription model where you can find more than 30 plus courses with respect to your rank, helping you earn respect on ship. Please enroll on these free trial videos, watch these videos as per rank, and then decide whether you want to invest or not with a very good flexible payment plan as well. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata.
Here is one charter party agreement, and this is basically a voyage charter. Okay, there are terms mentioned for the charter party as term time charter and as voyage charter also. So we'll see one by one what are clauses are there in the charter party. So basically the bunker clause is, as the charter hire was started, there they had declared that estimated bunker was this much available, and this was LSMGO, 86 metric ton LSMGO available, sulfur content was less than 0.1% and VLSFO sulfur content less than 0.5%, around 540 metric tons. Okay, and say it is a voyage charter party maybe, so they are expecting that there will be bunker remaining on board after the voyage completion of 160 metric tons of VLSFO, and LSMGO will not be consumed, so it will be as much as it was available before. Okay, so they have mentioned that this port they will load in Korea, and Poro Point in Philippines they will discharge, so Lakan will be this much, and this much will be the cargo. So cargo is not our concern. So this is actually from port, load port Korea to discharge port Philippines. This is the voyage. Okay, and this much is the expected consumption. So around 560 minus 160 is around 400 metric tons VLSFO is going to consume in this voyage. Okay, now what all is important is the, you can see the sailing speed and the consumption. So what the charter is saying, that you have to use the charter party speed during the whole charter party period. Okay, so when you are as a chief engineer, when you are on board, what is the charter party speed that you have to be aware about. So for that you have to refer to the charter party agreement. So when you are on board, please go through your charter party agreement, what it is saying. So in this case, when it is saying about 12.5 knots, okay, just a second, so around 12.5 knots, okay, and the consumption, fuel oil consumption is 18.5 metric ton, okay, of VLSFO, and daily you can burn 0.1 metric ton LSMGO. Now the question comes ki acha 0.1 LSMGO how you can consume. Say maybe during the voyage, if you are using boilers, for steam generation, there can be a case because the speed is less or something, or if you are using incinerator, for that purpose they have given clause of 0.1 metric ton of LSMGO that can be consumed when your speed is 12.5 knots. So for certain, say if you are using diesel for changeover, auxiliary engine changeover during starting stopping, you can use 0.1 LSMGO. Boilers is a critical case, maybe if you are using for cargo heating or something, or in case the boiler is not steam is not enough, the production is not enough, in that case for emergency if you are using. So in boilers, in incinerator and in changeover of the auxiliary engine, you can use this diesel 0.1 metric ton. Okay, now the question is 12.5 knots and the consumption is 18.5 knots and the passage is a laden passage where the vessel is loaded. Okay, now the second case, you see the ballast passage. Ballast passage, because the vessel is now empty, the speed will also increase 13 knots and the consumption will also reduce because the vessel is now in the ballast passage. So 13 knots speed and the consumption is 18.3 metric ton, and same case LSMGO you can burn in the these things. Now, can you exceed the charter party speed if you are asked to? This is the question. Say if they will ask you to come at 13 knots, or so in the charter, one more agreement I will show you. In that it is showing there is one economical speed, eco speed, okay, during the laden passage. So this is the eco speed, and there is one more MCR speed, which is the max speed. Can you exceed the eco speed? So here also your answer is given, unless and instructed otherwise. If you are instructed by the charterers that you can exceed the eco speed, you can exceed this 12.5 knots, say they require you to come at higher speed. Only thing as a chief engineer you have to make sure that you do not exceed your MCR speed. Okay. So if your vessel has got an MCR RPM, you cannot go more than MCR. So that is what you have to see. So if the charter is asking you to come at a higher RPM, yes, you can cross over the terms of the charter party agreement, but you should be aware, that is what is important. Yes, we can change the terms as per the requirement by the charter basically. And in the spot charter, what happens, this is the voyage charter, spot charter, what happens, the fuel is not supplied by the charterer, and the fuel is not supplied by the charterer during the ballast passage. So ballast passage speed is decided by the owner. Okay, and if there is any and the fuel oil is given by the charterer, so actually in the amount or the money for the fuel is charged by the owner from the charterer during the laden passage, okay, during the voyage charter. And in the time charter, the fuel is given by the charterer himself. So time charter has got less variations, because say for example, you have to hire a truck from say Dehradun to Delhi. So in that case, what you will see ki how much time you require to go from here to Delhi. Say if you need 1 day, so and your laycan starts in, say you need that package in 1 day time, or you need that package in 2 days time. So you will see ki at what speed I come, that the fuel is consumed minimum and I also receive the package at the right time. Okay, so in that case, similar is the case of a like you are doing for a truck hire, similar is the case for a voyage charter. So voyage charter will see ki I need the package in this much time, so I will ask the vessel to come at this speed. So they will ask the owner before signing the charter agreement that how much is your consumption speed, how much is your consumption at different speeds. Okay, then they will see, okay, if the vessel is coming at this speed, it is reaching to me on a certain fixed on the certain required time that I require the vessel to come to me. So what they will ask you to either reduce speed, increase speed. If they want you to come early, they will increase speed. So accordingly, when you increase speed, fuel will be consumed more, the charter hire will be more. So they will accordingly decide. But two things that we have to check during this when these speeds are fluctuating from the charter party norms, that one thing is should not cross the MCR RPM. And from my personal experience, I can tell you, in my previous vessel, the charterers were asking us to come at lowest speed. So ultimately we had to contact the makers, the engine makers. It was Sulzer engine RTA 86, okay, Sulzer RTA 10 RTA 96 Okay, so makers ultimately send us a message that you cannot reduce the speed below this power. So at least 10% power should be present. So in slow steaming also, this just it's a trending to meet the CII norms also and meet the charter party norms. What they are doing, they are asking you to reduce the speed. So in that case also, you cannot reduce the speed below a certain power level. Okay, at least 10% power, below at least 10% power. In that case, you can contact maker, you can contact your technical superintendent ki what should be done. In this case, they are asking us to reduce to this much speed. But these two things you have to keep in mind when you are reducing speed. Either you have to come to a certain level of power, cannot go below that, and in MCR you cannot go above. Only concern here is that yes, during the charter party agreement, during the voyage, the charter party norms are changing as per the requirement of the charters. In time charter it is less changing, but in voyage charter, spot charter, it's changing. Say every day it can change. Say maybe due to rough weather, the lake end or the delivery time is missing. In that case, they will ask you to change speed. In say good weather conditions, they might ask you to reduce the speed or something like that. It can change more oftenly during the voyage charter. So that you have to keep in mind. Okay, now next is what all reports we are sending as per the charter party agreement. Okay, what all reports we are sending. So first thing is from the load port to the discharge port, every day while at sea at 1200 noon, we have to send a noon report. What this noon report will comprise of? So every day during the noon, you have to send a noon report. What the noon report will comprise of? Noon report will comprise of, so at whatever requirements like date and time, it's okay. Latitude, longitude will be filled by second officer. What chief engineer will do? Average speed will be calculated. Now, how do you calculate the average speed? How do you calculate the average speed? And it is very important in case of a voyage charter to calculate the average speed. When you see the sheet, I'll show you on standard consumption sheet also in this module, where you can see the average speed section is just when you put the RPM or the speed, the next section comes of the average speed. It is automatically calculated. But how will you calculate average speed? Say the voyage charter voyage was of 5 days. Okay, for the first 3 days the speed was maintained at 12.5 knots. Okay, and then for the next 2 days the speed was maintained at 13 knots. So how will you calculate? Will you calculate it at, say, for 3 days the average speed you will calculate by 12.9 or 12.5, and for the next 2 days like this? Or you will take a complete average for the 5 days of this? Okay, so the answer is for complete 5 days the average speed will be calculated on the basis of all the 5 days. Okay, the average of all the 5 days. So you will add up for the 3 days this one, and for the 2 days this one, and then divide it by 5. Not separately for the 3 days and separately for 2 days. It will be completely for the 5 days that you will have to calculate the average speed. On that basis it will be sent to the owner. On that basis it will be, money will be charged by the charterer, what all speed it came. So complete voyage there will be an average speed. On that basis the average speed is calculated. Okay, and daily also the average speed is calculated. So on that basis this one is like for say for the day you went for 4 hours in the day for a certain speed, and then you were asked to increase the speed for next 8 hours like this, and for the next 8 hours again you reduce the speed. So for the complete whole 24-hour period the average speed will be calculated, summarizing or the summation of all the speeds divided by the total time. Okay, so that is how average speed is calculated. Now that is also important for us to know. average speed calculation, then the HSFO consumption, LSFO, LSMGO, whatever fuel has been consumed per day basis. Okay. Then RPM and slip performed since the last report. So slip calculation, we are already aware of how slip is calculated, and the RPM since the last report. Okay, we have also to file how much running hours record from the counters, how many counters. So you take the previous day counter and this day counter, subtract both the counters, what all counters you get, that is the running hours for the day. Running miles or remaining miles, this will be filled by the second mate. Okay, now after the consumption for the day, you have to write the ROB for what is the ROB remaining. Okay, this much is what we fill in the noon report by the chief engineer. So one is the noon report every day during sailing. Second is the arrival report when you arrive at the port. Okay, just by when master sends us the NOR, okay, notice of readiness to the port during port arrival, at that time there will be ROB of the arrival. Okay, so at the time of standby, you have to give one ROB of arrival. Okay, of all the kind of fuel you have got. Okay, now after arrival you reach to the port. Now in the port, what all report you are sending? Every day, while either you are at a loading port or at a discharge port, okay, even if the vessel is in idle condition, no loading, no discharging is taking place, then also daily port report has to be sent with the bunker ROB mentioning the consumption for the day. Okay, daily report during the port. Now after you move out of the port, you send a departure report. Okay, departure report after standby. So when the vessel gives you standby, vessel is ready to depart. So at the time of departure, you will give a departure report. Okay. Now other important thing is in this one is the bunkering report. Now what is the bunkering report? So what all reports we have seen? We have seen that noon report during sailing, during arrival you have at the time of standby you give an arrival report. During port stay you will give you either laden port or a during loading or during discharging you will give a daily noon report during the port stay. Then you will send a departure report after standby is given. Okay, and then one is the bunkering report. What is the bunkering report? So bunkering report is when you are going to take bunkers or when you are taking bunkers, at that time what reporting has to be done. So bunkering report is done with the bunkering schedule. That is why it is very important for us to take the timings. That is what is going in the bunker report. Okay, generally second officer sends it, but the timings is confirmed by the chief engineer. Okay, so please keep in mind that you should read the bunker tank soundings or bunker tank gauge from the barges also to be delivered before commencement of pumping in order to avoid any physical problem caused by the difference between vessel's tank figure and the barge figure. Here what we mean to say is, many a times there have been cases where there are differences in the bunker supplied and the bunker quoted. Okay, and the barge claims that we have already supplied the bunker, the vessel claims no, the bunker did not come on board. In that case there is a letter of protest issued or any discrepancy arises. So in that case what the charter party agreement is saying, that as a chief engineer we have to make sure that we check the sounding of the bunker barge before taking bunkers on board, so that there is no difference in the figures. Acha. In that case I need to discuss one scenario, whether is it possible yes, in normal conditions we go to the other vessel and then we take soundings, but is it possible that we can deny this? We cannot take soundings also from the other barge also? Yes, you have, as a chief engineer, you have got that right, that you can deny and you can say that there is no safe means of access which is provided. Say there is rough weather, it is an STS during which the both the vessels are not at common juncture where you can place a ladder or something to send somebody to the other vessel. In that case, if there is no safe means of access provided, you can write in the bunkering checklist no safe means of access and you put your signature. That will be all. If you have said that you cannot go to the bunker barge, in that case nobody is going to question you. But the case is whether, say, the bunker barge has got a crane and it has got, so in that case you will say ki sir, we can send it by crane, right? You can send a person by the crane, but the question comes whether your crane is having certificate for carrying the people. Okay, so there is a special certificate. Even if you have a basket, whether the crane is certified to carry person. Okay, if it is not certified, only case is the person who is going, say the fourth engineer is going in a basket, he has to give a letter of indemnity to the company that okay, if anything happens to me, nobody, I am is responsible, company is not responsible in that case, and nobody is going to give you a letter of indemnity. Chief engineer has to give a letter of indemnity. If something is going to happen, I am not responsible. Okay, so I am the one who is responsible. In that case, chief engineer and the fourth engineer or somebody who is going has to give a letter of indemnity to the company, which nobody gives. So in that case, until and unless your crane is certified to carry persons on board, persons in the basket, then only you can send somebody to the other vessel. And in case of bunker survey, or say of fire survey or ISM survey, definitely the surveyor is going to come back to you that how did you send somebody in this case, and if your crane is having the certificate, then only you can send by the crane. And this we chief engineers do not know ki certificate, if there is no certificate, then whether we can send or not, है ना? In that case you do not send, write that there is no safe means of access and then you sign it. That is good enough to suffice for that condition. If the barge has got a crane which has got a certificate, then from the barge's crane you can carry person. It should also have a certificate. Okay. So in case if you are not confident enough that the person can safely go in the other vessel, do not send it. But the charter party asks you to send somebody. So there can be questions, but if chief engineer put down and says that okay, there is no safe means access, I cannot send it. Okay, so that will be accepted by everybody in that case. And even if that bunker dispute arises, there will be no question as to why somebody was not sent. You can write in black and white that there was not safety to go in the other vessel. Now what things we are noting while we are doing bunkering? So these things are important to be noted and has to be sent to the as a bunker report to the company also. Time and date of the bunker barge alongside, time and date when the bunker barge gauging was taking place. If in case you are not taking, write not available with no safe means of access provided. Okay. So we take pressure on us ki we have to send, bhejna hi hoga somebody to take the sounding, even if it is not safe to go on the other vessel. Fenders are coming close to each other. There is a difference space between the two tanks and two vessels. No gangway is provided. It is unsafe to go to the other vessel. In that cases, you can say no safe means of access provided. No safe means of access provided. Okay, and put your sign. So that is good enough. Okay, time and date of the hose connection, then time and date of the bunker commencing, time and date of the bunker completion. Okay. Then lastly, supplied bunker quantity has to be matching the BDN figures. Even if the BDN says 454.05 metric ton, you have to mention the 05 also here in the bunkering quantity. Time and date of the hose disconnected. So time and date of hose connected, time and date of the hose disconnected, and lastly bunker barge departure. So this will go in the bunker report. Only thing as a chief engineer we have to make sure what all things we can carry out, and this time and date is important as per the charter party. It is required as per the charter party. That is why they ask you, second officer will ask you or any officer will ask you for the times correctly to be noted. So we have to keep the times also. So this is all about in this charter party agreement. In the next one I will discuss about certain more things in the charter party clauses. Okay, thank you.